Have you ever thought, wow, I would love to turn Boston Public Library into a functioning settlement? Well, I did just that. In fact, I'm standing in it right now. Let's get into how I put it together, and don't forget to stick around for the tour at the end. So I started with scrapping all the dirt and debris, but it honestly took a long time because there was a lot of it, so I'm going to speed it up. Now, you might be wondering, why turn the library into a settlement? Well, I have a habit of overthinking my characters when it comes to roleplay games, and I know that Nora would have spent a lot of time here when she was studying for her law degree. Because of this, she would want to turn the library into a hub of education for anyone in the Commonwealth. So that's what I turned this settlement into, a place where anyone can come to learn as long as they promise not to spill blood. I started with working on just laying out how I wanted the room connected to the main hall to roughly be, but I didn't decorate it just yet. Something else seemed more pressing, which was filling in all the holes and piles of rubble around the library. There weren't too many places like this for me to block off, but I did block off the entrance to the subway as we want the only way in to be the front door. I also blocked off the room with the collapsed floor, as I think the Minutemen would consider that too dangerous for the public. For the main hall, I knew I wanted it to kind of echo how the real Boston Public Library is set out. However, I did put like a bar, a cafe kind of thing at the very end, just because I felt it was an enclosed space and there's an opening in the top, so like steam can come out and stuff. Again, I think too much about these things. On the topic of said bar, or restaurant, or cafe, whatever you want to call it, this is actually one of my favourite parts of the settlement. I had a lot of fun decorating this one. So we've got some radstacks hanging from the ceiling, some meat that's being dried out, we've got a storeroom at the back for the bartender, and yeah, it's just like a cozy communal area. Obviously I'll go into more detail with these once we get to the tour. One of my favourite parts of building this was actually the entrance. So the idea here is that you would surrender your weapons to actually get through to the main hall. Again, the idea is that you're not allowed to spill blood or cause any violence, so you're going to have to surrender anything that would allow you to, do that. But yeah, I really enjoyed putting this together. I also had the idea of putting together a little walkway or a display, I guess, of Minutemen power armor. Moving on to the living areas, I kind of wanted these to have an almost military feel, so I used the Minutemen beds, which I have from a mod that I downloaded, and honestly I use these so much. The folded sheets at the end really add a sort of immersion for me that I really love, so I had to place those. I placed some desks in the middle for anything anyone might want to do in kind of the privacy of their own living quarters, so you could eat here, you could write here, you could really do whatever you wanted here, but it's just a more private area than the kitchen, I suppose. The type of people that will be living here are actually Minutemen soldiers that are defending the place, so the people that would actually come and use the library wouldn't necessarily live there. They could if they wanted to, but they would be in a very militaristic sort of surrounding, if that makes sense. The library is free for all to use, but the people that defend it are primarily living there to keep it safe. A great part about this settlement is the garden. I'm just using this to plant some crops, basically, just so the people here actually have a way of getting food themselves. They don't have to rely on food being shipped in elsewhere. For the main study room, this is more of a communal area, so I'm just adding some lighting, some decorations. I really liked the way this room was laid out already, so I don't want to touch it too much. I'm just adding some display cases to replace the ones that were broken. Wait, what? You want that tour? Well, come on then, let's go! Now, just a disclaimer, this settlement is massive. If you think about this compared to any other small size settlement, it is big. There is a lot going on. So apologies if there are frame rate drops here and there. My PC is just like, oh my god, what have you done to me? So, yeah. We will start with the entryway. So we've got this little justice and peace for the Commonwealth sign here. 34 raiders, headshots and counting. I love that. And we've got ghouls and synths welcome, because they are. So you would head past these little turrets here, and this person would normally be turned around the other way. You would check in, you would hand over your weapons, you would be let through here, and then once the door's closed, we would head through here. This lovely check-in lady here would put your weapons back here. And we've got this weapons room, we've got some confiscated weapons here, and then you get them once you leave. So yeah, can't really start any trouble, or you shouldn't be. It's a place of learning. So yeah, we've got a little Minutemen power armor display here. We've got some red coats as well. I figure it's apt for the Minutemen, you know. We're actually not going to start down here. We're going to go into the main hall first. Now, I really love this, guys. So I've set it out pretty much the way that the Boston Public Library is set out in real life. So with this walkway here, the tables and chairs. Obviously I don't have as many. I've put some double chairs and tables at the end there. And we've got this big blocked off area up here. We are rebuilding America. I've put some portraits around just to decorate the walls. I did try and put curtains up, but none of them are long enough. And the reason this is blocked off is because I just wanted it to be a bit more private, because there is a bar and restaurant back here. So yeah, I just wanted it, in case people are learning and studying, just to be quiet. So let's head into here. Now this is the fully decorated cafe. Oh my gosh, everyone's congregating in here for some reason. So yeah, we've got some stools. I've kind of used these containers as tall counters, which I thought was a pretty cool idea, if I do say so myself. We've got this little area here. Right, now let's move on to the main study room, which is over here. Let's just speed up a little bit. So I've tidied everything up. There's nothing in the display cases at the moment, but I figured once we find things that we can restore and, well, display, I suppose, then they can go in there. I like the idea that this is freshly been done up. Don't ask me why there's blood on the tables. We've got this little lectern, I think it's called, for anyone who might be teaching. So you can stand here, you can sit there, you can watch, listen, and I've also filled in up here because this was open and I thought, oh my god, this place, if it rains, it won't be good, especially with the tables and stuff. Now, around here, I haven't done too much, and honestly, the reason for that is because the subway scares me. Subways in Fallout 4 are like my worst enemy. I always expect to have like a terrible experience, but I'll just go down here and show you anyway. So normally you should be able to access the subway this way, but I blocked it off because I'm scared. And I don't like the idea of something coming in from the subway. So we have turrets here just as an extra security measure. Yeah, this is about it. There's not much going on down here. It's just kind of blocked off just to keep things safe. I did take the bars off these doors because from the outside you actually can't access them because there's metal things on them. And if I went outside, I don't actually think I'd be able to get out. We'll move on to the garden before we move on to the bedrooms. So we've got a little washing line here, which I thought was quite cute. And this is where obviously we have all our food. We've got some protectrons out here doing some farming apparently. And we've got some water purifiers hooked up to some solar panels from a mod that I have. We have blocked off this bit down here just because inside there is a collapsed floor, and I just figure it's just easier and more realistic if it's just blocked off, because I don't necessarily want to fill it in with that wood. We've got enough rooms in here, and honestly I don't think my PC can handle any more. So let's head up to the bedrooms. So let's actually go the main way rather than the back way, because I want to do this properly. Is it me, or does it kind of look like Hogwarts in here? Like, kind of does. Anyway, so close those doors, and we will walk down here. Now we've got some Minutemen rugs, which are quite nice. One thing I didn't show you when I was actually going through the building part, because I was actually slowly losing my mind. I have ADHD, so I don't build one room by one room. I go and do all different things at different times, and finding the footage when my Premiere Pro lags is awful. But this room I made into the general's room, because, you know, she did put the thought into actually restoring the library, so I think she deserves a room of her own when she does stay here. So we will move on to the workshop room. Now this is just where we've got a bunch of benches and stuff, just basically for anything that anyone might need when they are living here. Power armor stand, we've got a little radio, chemistry station, workbench, armor and weapons.
benches. So that's pretty much it. As I say, I'm not going too crazy with the decorations. I did definitely have more fun decorating this settlement than I did with some others that I've done, just because it's a bit different. We've got the first part of the bedrooms here. I figured this could be like one sex, and then in here we've got the other... Oh! I closed the door myself. I really like this bedroom. I think if I was staying here, I would want to stay in this one. It's quite nice. And we are going to go around and I will show you the showers and the toilets, because one of the rooms, or well, both of them were toilets, but I thought, hey, we won't need 2 rooms for toilets. So I've pretty much just kept this the same. There's a urinal, there's the stalls. I figure, you know, they can get those working again. And then this one here is where the showers are. So just a little, you know, you gotta be used to, you gotta be fine with showering in public, I suppose, in the wasteland. So, yeah. Keep you nice and clean. That concludes our tour, so I'm going to put some before and after shots here for you guys so you can see the true comparison. I think it's made a world of a difference, honestly. Again, it's not too crazy, but it's enough to make the settlement comfortable and nice to live in. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a comment, like, subscribe. It really helps the channel as it grows, so I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Bye!